Hey, Kailesh here. A lot of people ask me about what would be the correct way to do breath support in singing. And look, I can already tell you that there is not just one correct way to support the voice. There are some techniques that work, but it depends on what your objective is. Let's talk about it. But first, look, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. We have new videos every week. That said, Kai, what do you mean there isn't one correct support technique? The thing is, there are several approaches to singing that preach different ways to support the voice. There are teachers who advocate the idea that the belly has to be out. Others say it should be in. Well, something that is very important to be clear is that every breath or breathing technique uses the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle that separates our body and is glued to the ribs. Every time you breathe, he's the guy responsible for getting the air into your body. This happens because when the diaphragm lowers in contraction, the internal air pressure decreases in relation to the air pressure in the environment. And that's where the air comes in. When the diaphragm relaxes, it pushes the lungs, increasing the air pressure, and in this, the air is expelled to the environment. Oh, besides, breathing is different from support, okay? What we're talking about the diaphragm contracting to get the air in and relaxing to get the air out, is breathing. We all do it. Seriously, we need to do it, otherwise we die. And Kai, what is support? Well, support is what you do while singing or talking to control this diaphragmatic relaxation action. We don't want the diaphragm to relax all at once, because that would expel all the air. You wouldn't have control over your voice, and you still run out of breath fast. So to summarize, the great function of the support is to pressurize the larynx with air. That's why we can also call support subglottic pressurization, that is, the control of pressures that happens under the larynx. Hence the different support techniques, all of them aim to pressurize the larynx with air, but in different ways. Basically, you need to guarantee that your diaphragm will remain contracted for a longer time. And for that, there are those who defend that the best thing is to bulge the belly, so belly out. And there are those who defend that the ideal is to open the ribs well. And you also need to ensure that some structure will be regulating the relaxation of the diaphragm, pushing it. In this case, you can use a contraction of the lower muscles, or you can use the belly as acceleration pedals for the air. So, if you use the belly forward to keep the diaphragm lower, you will use low muscles to push the air. And if you use the ribs open to keep the diaphragm in contraction, you will use the deflated belly, so belly in, as an acceleration pedal to send air. The thing is, both ways work. But it depends. If you are a singer who likes to do a lot of movements while singing, you don't want to have your lower muscles being used to send air, because that will limit your movements. If these muscles are responsible for pushing air and you make a lot of movements, your voice may become unstable. Therefore, I usually prefer to use the lateral technique with open ribs and withering the belly, so belly in. This kind of support allows me to move a lot while I'm singing without having instabilities due to pressure variations. Want to learn this technique? Let's go then. First, let's open your ribs wide. I want you to take a coat and tie it around your ribs, about this height here. Great. Now we're going to pull the air by pushing against the coat, pushing the ribs against the coat. Relax again. Against the coat. Relax. That's right. Now let's hold it longer, from 6 to 12 seconds. So open the ribs and keep it. And keep it. Okay, keep it. That's great. Now let's keep the ribs open and let out a s. Our goal is to sustain for 15 seconds, deflating the belly, so belly in, and not letting the ribs close. Let's go down. Great, how was it? Could you feel the pressure of the intercostal muscles against the coat? What about the belly going inside? Very good. Now let's try this with a musical phrase. I'll use an excerpt from the song Somebody That I Used to Know. But you didn't have to cut me off. 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 Great. Did you manage to do it? It can be hard to get these patterns in place at first, okay? You need to do it very consciously for a while, but soon the thing becomes natural and you don't need a lot of effort to do it. Remembering that between a phrase and another, you relax your ribs. They stay open while you are supporting, then you relax so you don't overload the muscles. Let me know in the comments if you were able to apply it and if you have any questions too. Did you like the video? Leave your like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh! If your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world.